the Drop Dead Gorgeous guys on the show a few months ago. They told me that they hooked up with Ross Robinson on MySpace. So did he find you guys on MySpace too?
No, I think we kind of hunted him down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah?
We were really into Slipknot.
No one at the time was using him for records. He hadn't made a record in like a solid 4 years or something.
Yeah.
Except that Blood Brothers record, I think. Was
the last thing he did was Burn Piano Island.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I know he picked up like all these projects right after that record.
Yeah, yeah.
He did Rescue and he did what was that? Vex Red. You guys probably never heard of these guys.
I know Rescue. The Rescue is an amazing band. They're from
Ross
Detroit, aren't they?
Yeah, they're from Detroit. Dude, they were so good.
Oh, snap! I know that. Oh, dude, I know that. Yeah,
It's the most
cool.
tech pop punk
Right
band that
on.
ever existed.
Yeah.
I know, man. And like their time signatures were like totally out of
Yeah.
whack.
And that
So
band
crazy.
is sick.
Yeah, man. Like, what happened to those guys?
I have no idea.
We never met him or anything.
And then, oh man, and then Ross did this thing with a guy named Chase Pagan. He does like piano. He sounds like freaking Freddie Mercury.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and like it was awesome, but I don't know where all these artists. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, we just kind of we were like listening to the first Slipknot record a lot, and we were just like, man, it'd be cool if we could get Ross to do our next record, and so we just kind of begged Brett. Gave him some solid demos, and he made it happen. So.
Oh, really? So you were already working with Epitaph? You were just talking to Brett, and he was like, "Cool, we'll do it."
Yeah.
He's really supportive of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We just sent Ross the demos, and he was like, "Yeah, sounds sick. I'll do it." And we were like, "Cool, awesome."
That's awesome. So he produced your first record?
Our second record.
Second.
record on Epitaph. Okay, cool. And then you guys were doing that. What happened since you were the original singer? Where did Sonny get involved with this?
Well, what happened was we were making our first record for Epitaph in Georgia, and Sonny wanted to try out to play guitar. I met Sonny on MySpace, so it's funny you bring that up about Drop Dead, but I knew Sonny from MySpace because like when it first started, it was more of like a scene-only, like smaller kind of community thing before it had blown up into like the mainstream world or whatever. And like he used to leave me comments all the time, like all these weird things, and he was just some kid that had a lot of friends on MySpace. And I was like, oh, cool, whatever. And then like he kept calling me all the time, being like, dude, I want to come play guitar. So he came down. And then, like, he was like, we were, like, making up some vocal melodies together, and we were like, well, dude, why don't you try out to be the singer, because I like playing guitar and stuff, and he, like, sang on a song, and we're like, cool, man, this is cool, and then we just kind of, like, went with it. For whatever reason, we didn't even know the kid. We were just like, fuck, well, let's just do it. Me and the band, sure, why not? We got nothing to lose. Yeah. And then that's just how it all started right there.
And then he just took over vocals for a while?
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened? Why is he not in the band anymore?
He just wanted to make his own music. We were working, he was in LA recouping from his latest vocal surgery at the time, and we were writing the record in Orlando, and all of us were together, the four of us, and he just called us and was like, you know, I don't want to do this anymore, I really just want to work on my own music and make my own stuff and everything, and we were just like, wow, okay, are you sure? And he was like, yeah, I'm sure, and we were like, okay, so we just kind of rolled with the punches, so to speak.
What did that feel like when you get this call, you know, he's like, hey dude, I just can't do it anymore? I mean, you guys just released, you know, you guys had an awesome record that was out, right?
Well, yeah.
With Ross Robinson.
Yeah, we put out Heroin, and we did one tour off of it.
And we're going to go back into the record with him.
Yeah, we canceled 2 tours.
And you guys were on the cover of AP.
Yeah.
So it's like...
It was kind of crazy because we canceled Warped Tour because he lost his voice, and we canceled the Trade Tour because he lost his voice. Well, I mean, that was a whole debacle in itself, but... And then, like, when he quit, we were just kind of like, wow, so, like... I guess this is happening, and then for a while we just didn't really know what to do, but then we were just like, well, screw it. I mean, we can't just stop playing now. Like, we started without him. There's no reason why we can't keep going with it, you know, without him. So.
Yeah. Well, that's good that you guys do that, man. That's really awesome that you guys are, like, still kicking it.
Yeah, well, I mean...
I think it's because we had dude, we have so many memories with just us, like me, Derek, and Matt, just being in bands, from the EP and our first tours and all that stuff before Sonny even came into the band.
Yeah.
So it was like, it wasn't baffling when he quit, but it was just one of those things to where like we all looked at each other like, okay, you want to do this again?
You have to kind of,
You ready to do this? Because like this is gonna be hard.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Like
but we were like, yeah, of course we want to. This is how we exist. Like we don't even feed ourselves outside of from first to last. You know?
How old are you guys?
We're all in our 20s. Like, I'm 23 and 24 and
26.
Oh, yeah, you're 25.
23, 24, 25, 26.
So you guys are all like Yeah, I'm like 22, so you guys
Yeah.
are around the same age.
Yeah.
You guys were kids, like when you were teenagers. Was this what you wanted to do growing up?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, for
definitely.
sure.
Really? What's
Yeah.
it feel like now, being on the road all the time and being able to play with like
it's funny.
Westmoreland?
It's funny how different it is from the way you imagine it, but it's very gratifying.
Yeah, you never like you know how when you're young you have this idea of like a rock star or like your favorite band. You never slip into that fantasy. That never happens. It just feels like everyday life. It's just what you are used to. It's no different than someone else going to their job or doing their career, being a doctor or whatever it is. It's kind of like, yeah, this is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a routine-oriented person. I mean, like, you wake up every day and you do the same thing. Like, you know, you wake up, you hang out, you probably eat lunch, you walk somewhere to eat lunch, and then you do sound check, and then you hang out with the other bands on tour and goof around, and then you play, and then you get drunk or hang out or do whatever you do. And then the next day, and it's the same thing every single day.
Not to mention the fact that if you are a person that is driven enough to be in a band that gets out of playing local shows and becomes a national touring band and has some sort of success, generally you will not be satisfied. You'll be gratified and you'll be thankful for everything that you get, but at the same point, it's the thing in you that's constantly making you go, no, more. I want to do more. I want to do even better. I want to go further.
Yeah.
So you're constantly working, and sometimes it's like hard to step back and really just appreciate the spot that you're at and have a little bit of perspective from where you started.
Well, you don't have time to.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that when we were at our peak of, you know, like when Sonny and everything before he quit, like, I remember, like, all this stuff happening, but never really having the chance to actually realize it happening. Like, you know, we'd be, like, doing these interviews and, like, doing these things and, like, doing these tours, and I'm like, oh my god, this is crazy. But then, like, when he quit and we had a lot of time off to kind of, like, recollect.
We were also, like, didn't tour for 6 months.
It gives you a lot of time to really, like, look back and, like, be like, wow, we did so much, and I didn't even realize it till now.
When we went when we finally went back out on tour, it was literally, it felt like you were in the desert and we hadn't had a sip of water in a long time. It was like, whoa, this is so badass. We had been talking to a lot of labels. Our EP had been come out on 4-Leaf Records, Aesthetic, and it had done pretty good for an EP, you know?
Yeah.
And so we got all this buzz, like industry buzz, like all these labels, majors, and indies were talking to us. And Brett was, I think, the last guy we talked to.
Yeah,
And it was just like him and this guy, Nick, who does like all the artwork and in-house at Epitaph, flew to Gainesville where we were living. And it was just, I don't know, it was just like, it felt, something about them felt really good to us, and it was just like I don't know, we knew that it was the right move.
I remember feeling too, like I remember we had been talking to so many labels and thought we had covered every ground, had been like, oh god, I don't want to have to talk to anybody else, like all this, and we had never thought about Epitaph. And then when he got a hold of us, it was like, whoa, wait a second. And we were like, they don't have a band like us at all. Like we can, they can get behind this, and we can, and it was like, it just felt right. I don't know, it felt right. And Brett is, if you ever talk to him, he's a very straightforward, very upfront person. You know, he'll just be like, look, man, I don't know, you know, I just really like your band. I just want to put your records out. I want to do this, and that was kind of like a awesome change from a lot of people that you meet that are trying to impress you the whole time. You don't really actually get to know who they really are and stuff. So.
Yeah, the Epitaph too is the only. We were looking for like a label that we wouldn't be like tied into for like a long time. Not like a long time per se, but like every label we've been talking to are like indies that like wanted us to like sign on to a major, like right there. Like, okay, well you're gonna do like 3 records with us, and then you go to this major, and blah blah blah. And we were like, well, we just want to like do it. We want to do like an independent release. We want like.
They'd say that to you at the beginning.
Yeah, and like you
That's
know.
how most deals. I would say 90% of deals done these days are done where the band goes onto the indie, and there's already a major label deal that's already been done, and if they do a good enough, they'll move up to the major.
That's us, dude.
And our mentality was like, you know, if we're gonna sign to a major eventually, we want to make that decision when we're prepared to be on the label, not now. You know what I mean? So like, and Epitaph is completely independent, totally like awesome, and they just seem like the right fit in every area, and I'm glad that we did that. It was like the longer, slower road. but it was definitely the right road.
Yeah,
to
and
take.
it was a huge, huge growing experience. We learned so much about just the business, so much about record labels in general and stuff like that without having, and being able to take it a little bit slower, like you said, and kind of not be thrust into the major label world unprepared. You know?
What have you guys learned being signed, after getting signed to excuse me, can't even talk, dude. After getting signed to Epitaph, what did you guys learn that was like a total shock to you that you didn't know before you started?
Getting signed is only the beginning.
Yeah. Dude, I think people have this fantasy of like, oh, I'm going to get signed and then our band's going to be famous. It doesn't work like that. Dude, we were signed to Epitaph. We couldn't even get a booking agent for probably 6 months after we signed. It was hard to get tours and stuff, and then like one day things just snapped and things started happening and it was cool. But I think it's just because we never let up and we always were just like, like full steam ahead,
Yeah, for sure. I gotta ask an Epitaph question, like every band that's on Epitaph that I interview, I ask them, and nobody's been able to answer it yet. Like, is it true that Brett was gonna record Sublime?
Yeah, no, he was gonna sign.
He was gonna sign
them.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so he was gonna sign them, but he didn't sign them because they were smoking crack in the studio.
I never heard about that.
Yeah, that's right.
From what I heard, it was he was in talks with them to do a deal or something like that, and something happened. He never explained what. He just said.
He never said they were smoking rocks.
Yeah, no, he just said he passed on it or something like that.
Yeah.
He was kicking himself in the ass about it because.
He regrets it. He wishes. Yeah, he wishes it.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah, it's fucking Sublime.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah, I just heard that they were smoking crack and like he was clean at the time.
No, I don't know. I couldn't say because I've never heard
I'm
that.
about to email those guys and just ask like straight up. Is it true?
Nick from Epitaph will be here tonight.
Really? He's the graphic design guy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
He's an A&R guy too.
Oh, he does A&R?
I think he does a little A&R.
He kind of dips in. He's a great person at that label. He multitasks like crazy. He does a lot of stuff.
He's just a sick dude who like has good taste in music and stuff. So
Yeah.
you're like, he like has that opinion there.
Yeah, a lot of the way Epitaph works, a lot of the people that work there, no matter what they do, are
Yeah, they
always
dip into
welcome.
A&R.
Yeah, they're always welcome to bring in demos and stuff
Very
like that.
family oriented.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I mean, I know when I correspond with those guys, they're always really nice.
Yeah. There's great people at that label.
Yeah, man. I gotta ask you guys about Ross Robinson because when I grew up, I listened to all of the bands that he recorded.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like at the drive-in.
Yeah,
and like
totally.
Last Shaw, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what was it like working with him in the studio? Did he give you a prep talk before you guys did anything?
I was horrified before we went to record with him.
Really?
Because all I ever heard was how hard he is on drummers.
I already screamed at people and like all these crazy things.
It wasn't that crazy. He wasn't
I
that
just
bad.
think he's like a really intense human, and he's like really energetic, and he just like gets into the moment and like really wants you to just be insane about what it is you're doing. Like just like
he does scream at people, but people always, no one ever articulates in the way that he's doing it. He's like screaming in like a positive, like encouraging way. He's not like, you piece of shit, you suck. He's like, come on, man, do it, woo!
Or
yeah!
Ross is kind of like the party scene in Zion from Matrix.
Really?
Yeah. That's what it reminds me of. Just like earthy and spiritual and loud and heavy and big. I don't know. It's just like how he rolls. Yeah.
Is there anything that he said that really stuck out at the beginning?
Just that he wanted us to molt. That he wanted us to
He says multiply.
Yeah,
molt.
Yeah. He just wants us to. He wants you when you're playing to be out of your body. He wants you to be so into it that you're not thinking about it.
You're
that
just
you're
like
just, that
you're just doing it. You're like just like enjoying it and doing it.
Is he gonna be here tonight?
No.
I think so.
He never comes to shows, man.
Yeah, I think
He's always so busy.
he's always
too,
hurt
you know?
too.
Yeah.
Because of motorcycle
Yeah,
accident.
he rides motor. He does motocross.
something?
So he broke his back when he was recording Iowa.
Yeah, in Iowa, he was in one of those like lifted up chairs and a spinal metal thing up his back with a
while
broke
he was in
neck.
the studio?
Yeah, that's how he did that record.
Did he do Drop Dead on crutches, like with a broken leg?
Yeah.
He did?
Yeah.
He's probably done most of the records in his career with some sort of broken limb.
Oh. And you guys did that here, or did you guys do that
In NorCal.
Okay.
Up in Weed.
Oh, isn't that where like Patton lives?
I think he does live up there.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I heard something about that.
You guys met him?
He lives up there.
No, I haven't.
I've never met him, but he's a cool guy. I like all of his stuff.
I'm a huge fan of like Faith No More,
Yeah.
Vandemas, and all those bands.
For sure.
But I have a question for Matt over there. What up? Now, Matt, I gotta ask you, like, why do you think, not to keep talking about, like, Sonny and stuff, but, I was checking up online, and, like, a lot of people are really obsessed with him, like kids.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is? And do you feel pressure taking back vocals that he left?
I think that is because kids could relate to the fact that he was a kid, and he was on stage, like, talking to them, and then just feel like, oh, that's one of us. And I think then, like, when you're a kid, like, kids follow trends easily. Like, it's not a bad thing or anything. It's just part of being a kid, you know what I mean? Like, you don't really know who you are yet and stuff, and you just, like, you tend to cling on to things. And, like, I think that, like, the fact that he was just, like, this young person talking out to people just, like, it made a huge impact. And I don't know, like, the pressure thing, yeah, there's a lot, it's there for sure. But, like, I don't know, it's not, like, a big deal or anything.
Do fans, like, come up to you and say stuff like, you guys aren't the same without Sonny?
I've had people say that and stuff, but usually I just brush it off, because we have a lot of people at the shows who are supporting us.
Yeah, dude.
Like, way more people at the shows support us than don't. Like, I'm talking like 95% to 5% probably.
I get hate mail via MySpace, because people thought I was came in as the bass player at the same time that we kind of like everybody knew that Sonny was going to do his own thing, and people would message me on thinking I was the new singer.
Like,
you'll never fucking be. People are normally so confused and just like skewed by what's reality from just their messages alone. It's just like you're piecing together information from like Lord knows what off the internet.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, who knows what these kids think, and it's one of those things to where it's best to kind of like not worry about it. To like take what everything a kid says to you with a grain of salt, so to speak. Like, it's just like, I'm still my person. I'm still me. Like, I'm sorry this happened, but it did. It affected me more than you, whether you can realize it or not.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to move on with everything,
Yeah.
And it's cool too, because like as far as like Matt singing stuff, like we've had such a huge part in writing all this stuff that there is, I think, maybe not full and total like there is with the new stuff, but there is a little sense of ownership that we feel definitely towards the melodies and the lyrics and stuff, and totally on the music. Like the music feels like our, that's our, like, definitely us.
Now, what do your parents think of this? Like, you guys on the road all the time. Did they support you when you guys were first starting out?
My mom thinks it's cool. She'll call me sometimes and be like, where are you at? And I'm like, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, that's cool. I was at the gym today, and this guy, he came in and said he was in a band, and I was like, oh, that's cool, my son's in a band, and I tell him what band it is, and they freak out, and she's always like, she thinks it's, like, cool, and it's really funny. She's like, she's just stoked. But,
because I know you guys played with Wes Borland for a long time. What was that like playing with Wes?
Oh, it was awesome. I think that he rubbed off a lot on us. I think I can see a little bit of Wes in all of us just from touring with him, because he's a really intense, creative guy, and on stage, he's like 30 years old and rocks out harder than we do, and so
he's definitely a performer. Like, he's born to.
And he would always keep us level on tour. He would a lot of times step in a situation and smack down his logic or something on the situation. Yeah, and it's like, dude, you're totally right.